So this is a simple step-by-step tutorial on how to build a counter Dapp using React, Truffle, and web3js. You can see. So follow along with me as we build a simple counter Dapp. So we are going to be initiating both the back end folders and the front end folder. So let me zoom this out a little bit. Yeah, so we're going to run an mkdir. So this is going to create like a housing directory for all our folders, both for the front end and the back end. So we're going to do mkdir counter Dapp projects. So after doing that, we're going to enter the project cd counter Dapp projects. So we're going to be opening our directory. So I'm going to be opening up our directory folder. So actually it's going to open up in another window. So let's get rid of this first window. So you can see a counter Dapp project. So let me zoom this up a little bit. Yeah. So we are going to create our front end. So by creating our front end, we are going to create a basic React folder. So we are going to use the SoFi starter kit. So we'll do a git clone, then https github.com/dev kiddo, then / SoFi starter kit. Remember, it's a double T. So this is going to start up our basic React setup. So you can see our starter kit is here. So sweet, our basic React project is ready. So all we have to do, you can see our node modules is in here. So our npm starts or node modules is in here. So all the dependency that will be needed in the React app is in here. So we're going to do an npm I. So it's going to install our basic dependency. So you will see node module file appear here, or rather a folder. So we need to enter the app Solidity starter kit, then we do npm I. So you see folder node module. Okay. So wait a little bit for it to install. Wait a little bit. So it's trying to install. Okay, so let's do one. Let's start up our front end. npm start. So this is going to start up our front end. So it's loading, currently loading. So sweet. So these are our basic React starter kit. So 5 basic React starter kits. So let's do our backend. So we're going to do a PE called name backend. So we are going to be adding another terminal. Open up another terminal. Then we'll do cd. We enter the backend so that all our truffle files will be opened inside the backend. So we'll do truffle init. So sweet, you can see our contract folder, migration folder, test folder, truffle configuration. So both our front end and our back end is ready. So now we are going to be working on our smart contract. We're going to be deploying and testing. So let's go. So first things first, we have to switch to our back end. You remember we opened two terminal, a terminal for our front end and a terminal for our back end. So we are currently at the terminal for our back end. So if you simply don't have any of those terminal open, so you just simply open a new terminal. Then if you are working on the back end, you do cd back end. Then if you're working on the front end, you do cd front. You do cd solfi starter kit. Solfi starter kit. So it will take you to the front end. So kill the terminal. So we're currently at the back end. So we are going to create our counter contract. So we're going to be doing our XPDS. So we're doing pragma, solidity. Remember, we're using 0.850. So we're going to do contract. I'll name this counter. So we get a unit count. We declare unit 256 count. We're going to do an increase function. Do an increase the public I do count plus equals 1. So same with our decrease, we just copy and just repeat. Then we paste. Then we'll change this to decrease. Then change this to minus. Then we're going to do our last function. This is a private count, so we are going to be returning it from the getter function. So function gets count. So it's going to be public. And it's going to be view. And return. I'm going to be returning a event 256. Then return count. So our contract is good to go. So what next? We are going to code our migration scripts. This migration script allows us to be able to deploy our contracts So migration script is written in JavaScript. So we do a const counter. So we import the artifacts dot require. So artifact of what? Of counter. Then we do a module dot export. We're going to do a function. So it's going to be taken in the parameter deployer. So we're going to do deployer dot deploy. So we're going to be deploying this. So copy and paste it here. So this script enables us to deploy these contracts. So right. So let's configure our network. First of all, we'll run our Ganache because we are going to be deploying this Dapp on the Ganache network. So hold on, then quick start. Alright. So what we're basically going to do here, we're going to uncomment this. Replace this with a 7. So we are done with our network configuration. So we're going to configure our Solidity version. So you can see our version is 0.8.0. So that's what we're going to say here, 0.8.0. So I think we're done. We're done for configuration. So wait for our Ganache to run, then we'll hit truffle, migrate. So it's going to compile and deploy. So our Ganache is running. So we hit deploy. So our contract was deployed successfully. You can see our contract address and the rest. So let's quickly go over to test our contract. So for us to be able to test our contract, we are going to go to the test directory and create a test file. So we're going to do a counter dot test dot js. So we're going to be testing this our Solidity contract to ensure that our code is working perfectly. So we'll do a const. So we're going to be counter, setting our artifacts that require counter. So we're going to do contracts. It's going to be an arrow function. So it's going to take in a parameter account. So we're going to do a before hook. So what is before? So what is before hook basically do? It's going to be a async. Going to be taking in an async function because we're going to be awaiting the results in here. So what is before hook does is that before any test run this code that is in the before. Before you think of running any tests, run this code that is in the before. So we'll do we're going to do is we're going to so let's counter instance. So we're going to be declaring a variable. So we're going to be updating it here. So counter instance. equals to counter that's deployed. So we're going to be awaiting this. So everything is good. So we're going to write our first test. So it so it should increase counts by 1. So it's going to be an async because we're going to be awaiting some results from the blockchain. So taking an arrow function. So you are going to be running a code await counter instance dot increment. So you are going to be getting the count variable count equals to await counter instance dot get count. So what we basically did here is this await counter instance dot increment. We are calling the increment function. Then this counter instance dot get count. We are calling the count. We want to see the value of the count after the count have been incremented. So after incrementing the count, we'll save the count in this count variable. So assert dot equal. So then assert dot equal. So the variable of count should be equal to 1. The variable of count should be equal to 1. Or else you throw this error count increment failed. So I think this is our first test. I think we are good to go. So let's run the test. So we're going to do a truffle test. Alright. So hopefully this test runs. Or get a green check mark. Okay, 1 pass. So our test passed. Should increment come by 1. You can see 1 passing. So we'll do for decrement. So it should decrease counts by 1. So it's going to be async. So we're going to do an await counter instance on decrease. So we are decreasing the count. So we're going to do a const, right? Count await count. So we are getting the value of our count here. So we're going to do assert dot equal count should be equals to 0. So count decrement failed. So this count should be equal to 0 because we are decreasing the count. We already increased the count here, so we are decrementing the count. So we are expecting the count to be 0. So we're going to do a truffle test. Alright. So if our test runs successfully, so we are basically done with anything concerning our backend. the deploying of the contract, testing the contract, and anything done with the back end. So in the next video, or in the next section of the video, we're going to be working on the front end and implementing the back end with the front end.